Prozac. Okie dokie, here we are. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And before we get started, first we thank the place, Lincoln Eatery. I'll do a close-up over there. Mari will be here later. And so today we have here Ava. Frankel, okay.
But you can say it with your accent, I like the way it sounds.
So, Ava is running for commissioner on Unit 1, and she's going to tell us about the platform and her campaign and a little bit about herself and her plans for the city. She has a lot of innovative ideas. You know, the youngest person running for commission, so this is very exciting to have her in the future. You know, here, so we're very excited about the coming. So the floor is yours. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, great. My name is Ava. I was born and raised right here in Miami Beach. I was born at Mount Sinai. And when I was just a baby, my mom had a one-bedroom apartment with my crib in the living room. And throughout my life, she renovated and restored. Is everything good?
It's not you, it's me. I'm so sorry to
It's okay.
I forgot to recognize our dignitary, Blake. I'm going to change the camera, but Blake from the mayor's office is always here. Every Tuesday morning is here, so thank you very, very much.
Okay. Blake from the mayor's office.
Good morning.
Wait a minute, wave again. There you go. All right, honey, the floor is yours. My apologies.
Okay. Well, throughout my life, she made her living by buying historic homes in Miami Beach and renovating them and reselling them. So throughout my whole life, I've seen how much beauty can be created from what we already have. And I don't think that we need to destroy everything and rebuild to make Miami Beach the best city in the world. I think it already is one of the best cities in the world. And just by giving it a little bit of love just in the public areas, and you feel, oh my goodness, this city loves me. And when you walk in Miami Beach, and by the way, we just approved we just approved a $1 billion budget, and we had an $11 million surplus, which is going to be refunded to the residents. I see you shaking your head. And it might sound like a lot, but really, if you divvy it up per resident, that's $140 per resident. And that $140 is not going to move the needle. It's not going to do anything for anyone's lives. You're not going to be like, oh my God, yeah, I can go on vacation with my $140. You're not going to do anything special with your $140. But had they taken that $11 million and made our sidewalks nice, you know, in Lisbon, I saw them pressure washing the streets. I've never, ever, ever in my life, I was born and raised here, seen anyone pressure washing the streets of Miami Beach. And it shows from the way that our government treats our city. They don't, it's a lack of love and a lack of respect for our city. The streets are cracked, there's potholes everywhere. Our bus stops, now I'm not opposed to taking a bus, but I would never take a Miami Beach bus because our bus stops are depressing. And in a world-class city, don't you think our bus stops should be like such a pleasure to go to? I would have preferred them to spend that $11 million making every bus stop feel like something. Wow, what's that bus stop? That's so cute. I want to go sit there and wait for the bus. Oh, and then the trolley comes, and you're like, wow, I'm on the Miami Beach trolley. This is such a nice experience. That's how it should be, don't you think? I think so. So I would rather have that instead of a $140 per resident refund. Yesterday I spoke at Flamingo Park Neighborhood Association meeting, and it took place in Flamingo Park. There's a classroom there, and I saw that there was after-school daycare for kids, and the classroom, I walked in and I thought I was in a hospital. It was disgusting. It was depressing. It was so cold, so bland, like white walls everywhere, and in the corner there was all these brooms and stuff to clean and just trash cans. I mean, these trash cans are pretty nice right here in the Lincoln Road Erie, but their trash cans was just the plastic big black one. You know what I'm talking about? Those kids are not going into class thinking Miami Beach loves me. They're not. And there are cities that have way less budget than Miami Beach does that just show more love. And I think, you know, our current government was so upset that our visitors were treating Miami like trash. But I think that the way that people treat a city is a reflection of how the city treats itself. And, you know, like I said, there are poorer cities. There are cities that don't have as many resources as Miami Beach has. And people go to those cities and they respect those cities. They respect the grounds. They would dare not litter. And it's not because it's Miami Beach and it's party. It's because of the way that our government treats our city. And the way that everyone else treats it is a reflection of that. So if I have the honor of being your commissioner, I promise I will treat the city with love. I
formulating it.
Oh my God, Harry. Okay, I'm surprised now. You're surprising me. Okay.
I didn't expect it to be told by
Hi, revitalizing Lincoln Road is a common theme amongst everybody running for office. So I'm interested in how you would go about bringing it back to what you envisioned.
Thank you for the question. It's a good question. Should I go back to my slide? So, there's multiple answers. Number one, I would get rid of some of the bad rules that we have and also the red tape. I don't know if you know this, but the restaurants on Lincoln Road are not allowed to play live music. But they can blast music off of a speaker system. It just can't be live music. So it has to be off of a playlist. To me, in my eyes, that's us taking the soul away from Lincoln Road. So that's one thing. Number two, the permitting process for new businesses, specifically restaurants, is very, very difficult in Miami Beach. It frequently takes 3 months or more to get a permit approved. So that business has to pay the exorbitant prices, rental prices on Lincoln Road while keeping their doors shut. In my eyes, that's unacceptable. We're a world-class city. Those permits should not take more than 7 business days. And you should have immediate feedback. And then 3, I think something that would be really, really cool in Miami Beach, and they actually have this in Bell Harbor shops. And I made a mock-up of it, and I can show you guys. I don't have it printed on there. It's on my website though, because it was after I printed those. But it's basically a Miami Beach app that incentivizes local spending. So you connect your credit cards, and it tracks how much you spend everywhere in Miami Beach. You don't have to do anything after you connect your credit card. And then as you spend more, you receive points, and you can redeem those points throughout Miami Beach. So say 100 points gets you an hour of free parking, or 1,000 points might get you a free smoothie at various locations. And then 10,000 points might get you a free beach chair at a hotel, and so on. Maybe even property tax credits as you spend more and more. So that's one thing, to incentivize local spending, because it is true that, like I said, that a lot of the other places in Miami have done so much effort to catch up to Miami Beach that they're outpacing us. And people that are Miami Beachers frequently want to go outside of Miami Beach to spend their money, and we need to incentivize residents to spend their money locally. So those are the 3 things.
All right. Very, very nice.
I'll repeat it.
Want to improve on Miami Beach. I would like to, if possible, and I know you can, limit it to 3. Narrow it down to the 3 that are most important to you, and let us see which they are, and maybe you can expand on how you intend to meet that. I would appreciate that.
Okay. So my 3 most important issues. Number 1 is the flooding and drainage system. 100%. I'll give you guys an example. So right now, we have these things called single point drains. So those are like those little drains on the corners of every block. And you know, blocks are quite long. Maybe 1,000, 2,000 feet long. And they have tiny little drains in the corners. And it's not like the road is sloped towards those drains, so all this water in the middle, it really has nowhere to go. So what we need are something called channel drains, and it's actually in that booklet that I have. But here, can I show everyone just to explain? So channel drains are long drains. They kind of look like this.
Goes up over there.
They look like that. They're long drains. I'll show you. long drains along the length of a road or a sidewalk. Yes. Now I want you to think of a highway, okay? Say there's an 8-lane expressway, and there's one toll at the end of the expressway, and there's a bunch of cars because it's rush hour, and they're all trying to go through that one toll. Obviously, it's not going to work. Those cars are going to be backed up for ages, and that's essentially what a single point drain is. It's a tiny little toll in the middle of rush hour when it comes to rain and water. So these channel drains, long drains throughout the length of the road, will enable for continuous water capture, which is basically like having a sun pass. Amazing. We need that. And then currently also, in the master plan, which I don't like the master plan at all, our flooding master plan that we're about to spend, that we're currently spending $100 million on, it involves pumps that use electricity to pump water into above ground storage containers. So the water needs to go against gravity. And we all know that during the hurricane, which is when we need our drainage systems to work the best, the first thing to go is our electric. So I don't know what the heck they think. What? Okay, but how long is the backup generator going to work? And how long does it work? For 3 years, we haven't had a bad storm for 3 years.
Yeah, so I remember that there was the backup generator failed that was years ago. Yeah. And after that, they fixed it. Oh, okay. I actually did not know that. That's good to know. So that was up there. I didn't know that.
Yes. Well, I don't think if it was a storm like Hurricane Andrew, I don't think that they would be able to rely solely on the backup generators. I think we should instead rely on gravity, which doesn't require electricity. Yes, exactly. I'd rather dig deep and create a solution that lasts for centuries.
We're on top of the bay.
I know, but there are engineering techniques that allow you to dig deep without being surrounded by water.
No, and besides also, our side, the west side of Miami Beach is the lowest point. Actually, we already going to, yes.
spending a lot on both. So we really need to make sure that our businesses are thriving. Otherwise, it's going to be a really big problem. And then the third thing, what are you doing? Yeah, I mean, I already said, like, getting rid of the red tape and allowing businesses to, because imagine you're a restaurant, a really cool restaurant, and I think Miami Beachers frequently are complaining, oh, why don't we have anything amazing on Lincoln Road? Well, if you were an amazing restaurant, and you have the funds, and it's your dream, and it's your first restaurant, and you really want to open something special, and you put your heart and soul into it, why would you go somewhere where the rents are crazy high, you can't play live music, no jazz band, no DJ, nothing, and on top of it, you're going to have to wait 3 months to get a permit. Why would you open there? You wouldn't. I wouldn't. But we have rules against it. It's yes, you do. Used to. I know, but they're not allowed to do it anymore. They talked about it at the commission meeting. And then the third one is, I really would love to beautify our city and make it just a better place for residents to spend all of their time. Like more trees in the parks to create more shade, more benches. I mean, I think a lot of our government is currently leading based off of fear rather than off faith. And they don't want to put benches because they don't want homeless people to sleep on it. That's crazy to me. You can't not provide a bench for your 80,000 residents because of fear of the 100 homeless people. Just have better cops that are chip chop, go away. No sleeping here on this bench. So stuff like that. I mean, I think Scott Rayco, our public facilities, they should have greenery draping off the facade.
Okay. With the,
Oh my God, he wrote down the questions.
I wrote down a lot of things here. I can't answer more right off. But anyway, to start off with, you know, there was a building that was had to be repaired next to it. It was a two-story structure. Anyway, they did the repairs and everything, and all of a sudden, I see the man that's the contractor. He's sitting in his car. I was practically all day waiting on different inspectors from the city of Miami to check him off. It must have been God knows how many different inspectors he needs, and that could be streamlined.
No.
Definitely. I don't understand it. Maybe you can have a comment.
You know, this is actually a great question, and it's reminding me of something else that I just learned about. So, I just found out that I heard this from a city worker, by the way, and he filed a report on this, and it's still unchanged. But there was a construction project in North Beach, and it was raining, so their concrete solution was overflowing into the street. And if the concrete solution is in the street and code compliance sees it, then they get a $1,000 fine. So what they did is they moved the sap that blocks the drainage, the storm drain, they moved it, and they started sweeping that concrete solution into our storm drain. You want to know why? Because the fine is $500 for that. So basically, Miami Beach is incentivizing littering into our bay, into our storm drains, and in my eyes, first off, obviously, it's a development, they have a lot of money. $1,000 fine, and and 500 is way too small.
I'm in amazement
Yeah.
because the problem is, worse than the fines, that material could harden in the drain
Yeah.
and cause a problem,
Yeah.
clog it up or whatever.
And in my eyes, if something like that is happening, immediate like $10,000 or $20,000 fine, not $500. $500 is like nothing to these people that are building a building. $10,000, $20,000 fine and immediate stop work order for like 2 months. Like punish them. Punish them. Not just you have to pay $500 for littering concrete into our drains. That's crazy.
Okay, question number 2.
Question number 2, of course, would be apply the surplus that you have in the reserve to the next year, or to a reserve, we have a reserve fund, to apply it to that, rather than to round out and balance the books. So what's your feeling about that?
I mean, I think that they could have done anything more creative with that $11 million. And I think the whole point of them doing a refund is because David Suarez, and it's not David Suarez's fault. David Suarez was saying, why are we raising our property taxes? We should instead cut things from our budget that we don't need to be spending on. And then they found the $11 million of surplus, and they were like, okay, well, we'll refund our residents. Like, no, just do a better job at, I am sure at least 20% of our budget is nonsense. And we actually don't see line by line what that money is being spent on. So we see like what department receives how much, but we don't see, imagine if it's like I don't know, code compliance, right? Say code compliance gets $5 million per year. They could, I'm not saying that they do, but they could have $2 million allocated to marketing that our commission is not able to see. And obviously code compliance doesn't need a $2 million marketing budget. I'm not saying that they have that, but I'm just saying little things like that. There's probably so much revenue or expenses that we're spending on that we don't need to be spending on, that we could easily cut without doing anything bad for our city. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
Okay, now, does anybody else have a question? Because he has 2 more. Written down, I can see it on the paper. Anybody else want to talk to somebody else? Anybody else? Okay, stand up because we need your voice to come up. Stand up, yes. I got the pink microphone. If you could find the speaker over there just for you.
That's so cute.
Yes.
First of all, I grew up in Harvard, and I moved to one life into the road, which I think is a good thing. The road is the higher of our tourists attract. But I need to shoot. I need to make it super clear that we do not want life in Southern Harvard. Anything.
Now you want
On any circumstance. So we have to be very clear where we want to make the district, Washington Avenue, Cisco Road, but not every neighborhood needs or wants neighborhood. Because every restaurant in this town wants to have Anna's or Monia's, and there are hundreds and hundreds of residents. If you're TH, you don't have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to work. And if you have all these restaurants in Southern Harbor, all of them, like, it was a big, I'm telling you, it was a huge fight for years about life insurance.
people abuse. That's the problem.
Correct. And you have all these restaurants, all of them with live music, live entertainment, movies, or talk. So, great idea. I feel super enthusiastic and young, and that's so happy of people. You know, there's energy to the city. So
about live
She doesn't want any live music in Sunset Harbor, period. Yeah. There's an ordinance for no live music in Sunset Harbor. They can play the playlist. I mean, in my eyes, like, you know, there's an ice cream store called Salt and Straw. Do you guys know it?
It's right here in the front.
Yes, right here on the corner. And I was on the other side of the street on Lincoln Road, and Salt and Straw was blasting like trashy music, and it wasn't live music. So I just don't understand, like, I understand what you mean in that you want it to be a peaceful place for families and you don't want any disturbances. And I completely agree that there needs to be that type of regulation, especially in the residential areas. But I don't really understand the discrimination against live music, because I think live music, if they're gonna play music and it's gonna be blasting, I'd rather have a live music than whatever Salt and Straw was doing the other day. You don't.
Is it indoor or outdoor, the live music?
No, indoor. No live music. Indoors only. No live music.
They're saying even indoors.
The resident voted
But you
for
have the ordinance.
Yeah, I'm not trying to change your ordinance.
And there's a reason why we have that ordinance.
Oh, you want to know if she supports that?
Right.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure.
Well, I'm not passionate about changing the ordinance in Sunset Harbor, but Lincoln Road is not residential. Yes. Yeah. No, but she's saying even indoors. She's saying even indoors.
They were not doing it.
And what if it's like a classy little restaurant and they have a piano player? I mean, I'm like, I mean, I'm not against.
No music.
Yeah, I'm not against it. I'm not against having no live music. Yeah, I'm for whatever the residents of the area want. But Lincoln Road has no residents.
So let's move on to the next question. You guys think
Okay, drainage. Talk about that. The problem is maintenance. Remember, everything is gravity, drain, so you have a catch basin, and those have to be leaked out, and then it's through a force main to the sewer plant. Those things have to have maintenance. You have to have a crew that's dedicated.
You know what they do now?
I have things, but I have to speak with you or privately on that. And then the final question, of course, is about rapid rail. We have involved Miami-Dade that it wants to preempt our zoning, which if it comes anywhere or Miami, it's a mile away, and we have no zoning. But we need this connection with the mainland. Crazy as it may be, we need that. That's the way it's got to be. Most people that live in Miami work in Miami. People that live in Miami work here. We really need to the rapid transit and we're at a locked situation. What did you propose to do to free the situation up?
Those are two good questions. How about your first one first? I don't know if you've seen this, but currently they have these trucks that come and they suck up the water. So we have staff going constantly throughout Miami Beach, just operating these trucks, sucking up the water. We can easily reroute those people to drainage. On to your next question. They're currently in the works of implementing a water taxi to get people from the mainland to Miami Beach. I don't think, I'm not for a mono, it's indoor, the water taxi.
Yeah, but it has to go out.
Yeah, he's like if it's too choppy and.
Yeah, that exact.
I mean, there's buses that go to Miami. I'm not a fan of like having a monorail in Miami Beach. I think Miami Beach is kind of like a beach town, and a monorail gives me the energy of like a big city. And I know Miami Beach sometimes likes to think that we're a big city, but I think we're just a small little town. And I don't know if we need like a monorail, but maybe having better bus routes and nicer bus stops with more people, they can accommodate more seating for the people that's covered, if it's raining, stuff like that. What? Because I don't know. I just don't think that we need a monorail.
Okay.
I don't like a monorail. I don't want to see a monorail. I don't want to hear a monorail. I don't know. Do you want to see a monorail in Miami Beach? No?
Like walking.
No?
I have a question. Great ideas are one thing, but putting it into effect is another. But do you find any past experiences or examples where you've taken an idea and actually made it, put it on the reality?
Yeah. I mean, I started a storage company that was like totally tech-based. And that was an idea and I brought it to reality. Yeah. It does. Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's not like my main focus right now because I realize that it's easier for me to make money in real estate because my income is higher for how much work I do. But it was a really interesting way for me to like try to modernize an existing system that I felt was outdated.
So you have to interact with others.
Yeah.
On a common goal.
I mean, I do that also in real estate. I'm negotiating all the time. I'm a good negotiator, so. Yeah, that is
Already
important.
fooled everybody.
Are we, any other questions going once, going twice? No? No? Okay, not looking at anybody in particular, no questions? Okay. All right then, so, thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's a tough crowd.
See, I knew it.
No, we had a question. I wanted to say thank you, because I think that bringing a young person into the mix, particularly if you have very, you can put your body out there to ask people ask the question. Some people think you're too young, some people think you don't know enough, some people, but you are remarkable to be out here and not be afraid to ask, to put yourself out and let people ask questions. So I'm very proud of you.
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
are.
I
We are
appreciate it.
So, as usual, next week we are going to have a Tuesday morning. Next week is going to be Fred Carlson. Fred Carlson will be here. And what else? Well, that's going to be about it.
Let me say something else. Please come, because he is a candidate and he needs to hear your questions. Your questions. But we really don't know enough about him unless you know him personally. I know him from way back.
Billy, for managing here. Thank you, you're great help, honey. And as usually, I always ended showing Lincoln Eatery. Thank you so very much for having us. See you next Tuesday. Finish.